Okay, let's see. I wanted to go over BTC today first because, well, BTC is break. I mean, it's still gonna try and break above now, but I wanted to explain why I am still looking for more upside, even though BTC is currently at range highs, right? We've been mostly long, even though BTC is at range highs, and I swear whatever like server or social media thing I go into, there's actually only bears. Like people are actually talking about the cycle top, even though it doesn't make any sense. So I wanted to go over why I don't think that makes any sense, why it's really stupid to do so. Um, and then we can go and look at Ethereum and then maybe some altcoins. So okay. First thing I want to mention is last time we were bearish was on this monthly close. And the reason for that is obviously because this candle looks disgusting. This candle looks really, really bad. And the moment, what's it called? Very shortly after that, we got a really nice capitulation wick. And the capitulation wick got bought up immediately. I mean, not only did it get bought up, this also just closed extremely well. We started the day by literally nuking, what is it? By nuking 5.5%, and we almost closed the day green. Next day was an engulfing candle. This is really good. Whenever you see candles like this with really big wicks into one side, especially if they kind of wick other stuff out, and then a really small body close, these are really good candles. These indicate a reversal usually. Now, because of that, if we go back to the monthly, we have reason to say that this has already played out. And it might not look like it because percentage-wise, it really hasn't, right? There's a lot of room to be left over. But when we look at simply how much volume and liquidity was taken out over here, there is so much that went into this that we can say, okay, well, maybe that was actually the reaction. And I will say, when we got to this high, we had a very similar reaction, right? This high is also just extremely ugly. This one over here. We had a similar reaction. So you can make a similar argument for upside, which leads us to say, okay, well, if there's one on both sides, well, what do we even believe? There are two options here, and that is one, hey, this is just your range. That makes a lot of sense, saying, hey, this is your range, and I want to be selling here because we're at range highs. That makes a lot of sense. Because, well, you are still at the top of your range. It depends on how you draw it, but you can make an argument for a range here. Whenever I drew this range, I would say that your range lows are always going to be somewhere in this area. Your range highs are a lot more debatable because you don't really have a lot of highs at the same spot. So you can make an argument over here, but you only have one or two touches. You can try and make an argument over here, but once again, it is actually just this consolidation area. Like, we're using a current high for this. It's really not pretty. Or we would have to put it lower where it does make sense. We have like 1, 2, 3, 4 touches that want to support, etc. This makes more sense to me. However, looking at it like that, we are currently above the range. So for that reason, I don't consider this a tradable range. We can trade the lows, but trading the top of it really doesn't make any sense because where's your actual range high? Now, when we don't consider this a tradable range, or if I put the line here, something I always recommend looking at, and something I always look at, is simply market structure. Market structure is one of the easiest ways you can identify a direction. So when we look at the daily, we're going to look for where candles close below wicks. So, for example, let's say this is our high, this is our structure high, and this is our structure low. After that, we made a higher high. This is essentially just a leg up, right? A higher high. We went lower, and we once again made a higher low. Why do we know that that is a higher low? It is because when we draw a line from the lowest wick out of this low, we have never closed a single daily candle below it. So we know that this has to be a higher low. It doesn't matter how you draw it. You can draw it over here, or you can draw it over here, or you can even just draw the entire thing if you want to. We haven't had a single daily closure below this. So for that reason, that is our structure low. And if that is a higher, what's it called? So we have a higher high, or well, our first high, our first low, a higher high, because we closed above this, right? Higher high, higher low. Logically, we can expect another higher high. It makes a lot of sense for us to make a higher high. Because very simply put, markets are more likely to continue their trend than they are to break. There's a reason why markets often move like this. There's a reason why in downtrends markets move like this. It is more likely to keep doing this than it is to break. So with that reasoning, it makes a lot more sense to make a higher high here than it does to make a lower low. Now, obviously at this point, that is not tradable anymore in BTC, because you're not going to long something like this. This is not a long anyone would take. So this is not something tradable on BTC, but it still makes sense. We can still say, hey, I think BTC is going to make a new high. I think it makes a lot of sense for us to close higher. We should at least close above this. That makes a lot of sense. So for that reason, good setup. Yeah, bro, this is perfect. It's a 0.17 risk to reward. My favorite. But for that reason, we can still say, I think this is gonna go higher. We cannot actually trade it. We cannot long this because no one should take a 0.17 R setup. But we can use it as a thesis. So for that reason, I still think BTC is gonna make a higher high because it makes more sense. Now it can go lower for sure, but in general, this chart should be uptrending. Now, whenever I do that, whenever I look for a direction, so the daily trend in this case is giving me direction, is giving me an idea, hey, I think we're gonna go up. When we do that, I usually draw targets. Because hey, I don't always trade market structure, I trade harmonics, and those go against market structure. So what we have, and I will say this is not valid for regular standards, but because this is a shark, this is valid. This should be, for Gartleys, 3% away from the 618. For sharks, it doesn't matter as much. This is 5% for sharks, that's fine. What would have validated your boo thesis? Yeah, that would have validated. If you close below 89. That turns it to bearish, right? It turns market structure to bearish. I obviously have a lot more than this. Because I wouldn't be long at altcoins if it was just this, because well, you are still at the highs. But this would be invalidated if you close below 89k. Now, when we look at this pattern, we can see a shark. And sharks have this unique thing where they complete at X to D 113 and 886. So this can be a 113 or an 886. However, the minimum of B to D is what usually makes a difference, because the minimum is a 1.618. In this case, that completes almost perfectly at the 113. So because of that, we can reliably say, hey, that 113 is going to be a very important level, because not only is it where the shark actually becomes valid, it is also very close to the 1.618. Essentially, this would be your shark. And for that reason, when we look at market structure, when we say, okay, I think we are more likely to go up than down, and we look at this harmonic, it would make a lot of sense for us to tap this harmonic and then start moving down. So for that reason, I am looking at this shark for shorts. You might have seen it on my charts already, because I also just have the short marked out on my chart. But in general, this is the place I'm looking at. And now I'm looking at this candle is disgusting. That didn't actually take this, right? No, okay, did take this. This candle's disgusting. So I might not get it in this push. But in general, this is my highest area of interest for shorts. And I will say I will be looking to short it. I don't think we break through it because there's way too much positive news for that. There's no way with all of the positive news we've had that we're actually going to push through. But if you do get there, I think it's going to be a really good entry for shorts. Now, with that being said, we have a reason as to why I'm bullish. Now, on a lower time frame, this looks disgusting, first of all. This really doesn't look good. But on a lower time frame, what we've started doing is we have started forming harmonics that align onto the exact same spot. This is called a 113 butterfly. I'm doing this out of, like, what's it called, out of muscle memory. This is called a 113 butterfly. Essentially what this says is whenever you have a 786 and the 113 and 1618 align in the same spot, that is a valid point of interest. So in this case, we have a freshly formed harmonic that is forming at exactly the same spot. Now, this is a way lower time frame one, but it does form in the exact same spot. So, because we already had that level marked out, because we already had reason to believe that the chart was going to go higher, and now that we're getting close to that level, there are more patterns forming that complete onto the same spot. This is something that very often happens before you actually get to that spot. So for that reason, I think it's very likely that we actually get there. And when we do, I think it is going to be very good for shorts. Now, that doesn't mean it has to happen today. It doesn't have to happen tomorrow. Because quite frankly, I don't think it does, because this is not a reaction you want to see to liquidity like that. I think, no, a lower term frame like that, it isn't. No, okay. That's not a reaction I want to see, but I think this goes a bit lower now, right? I think this is going to go something like this before it goes higher. But in general, I do think we get there. Now, because of that, we can look at other charts. We can look at altcoins and see, okay, what are they up to? And usually, whenever we do that, altcoins don't look so good, because altcoins hate looking good for some reason. However, a lot of altcoins are at levels where invalidation is unbelievably easy. So let's take, what should we take as an example? Let's look at Ordi. Let's take Ordi as an example. When we look at Ordi, and I will clean this chart up a bit. Yeah, is it like that? Yeah, they really do, huh? Okay, when we look at Ordi, what we see is a chart that looks like absolute trash. This looks really bad. This has just been downtrending forever now. The new people that came into the side class probably never even heard of Ordi, because, well, this is where it was popular, and not over here. Ordi is a coin that can run really, really hard, but it just doesn't. It's been downtrending for really long. Now, Ordi is at a level that a lot of altcoins are at, and that is essentially the last level they are allowed to be. I specifically like Ordi for this reason, because we also just had equal lows over here. We just had a bunch of wicks in the same spot. Essentially, when you look at this from, let's say, a supply and demand point of view, you can make a very good argument for this level just being a demand zone. Or you can even put it all the way up there if you want to, but that makes it really wide, right? So not good for the example. So this is essentially just your demand zone. This is the last area on the chart before you actually get into, like, the point where you can truly call this coin dead. This is the last area where Ordi is allowed to be. You can make a very solid argument where, if this holds, that this is just going to be a range, right? This is just a very high time frame range. Now, because of that, the initial thought someone might have at this chart is, okay, this chart looks garbage, which is correct. It looks really bad. But when you look at it from a different perspective, you can also say, okay, well, this is your last level of support. It has to hold here, or it literally dies. So your invalidation is unbelievably easy, because what you can just say is if you ever make another low, you're now back into that old range. You are now looking at an 80% drop potentially. So if you ever make a lower low, you're going to go there, most likely. Now, if you don't, we are still on this part of the chart. We are still in this area. We are not in this area. So if you don't make that lower low, you have so much potential upside. Now, this is not saying Ordi will get here, right? But this is one of the targets you can realistically look at. So your risk to reward is immense at this part of the chart. So if you are even remotely positive in an asset like this is the area where you can very safely buy. Because what is your validation? Well, your validation is 10%, or it's 11%. What is your reward? Well, I cannot actually put a range. I cannot actually use volume on this chart. But the range point of control is somewhere, what's it called? Somewhere over here, I think. I think something like this was PLC. Or let's just use a fib, that's easier. Either way, what is your reward? Well, your technical target out of this harmonic, your TP1 from this harmonic, is 48. So, on a place like this, you are risking 10% for 130% TP1. A lot of altcoins are at this spot, which is why I made a post a while ago, I think it was like 3 or 4 days ago, where it said, okay, it is risky to buy here, but a lot of altcoins are at this place where if they don't hold, they're truly gonna die. This is your highest risk to reward area you are gonna get. If they don't hold, they likely drop way more. If they do hold, you have so much reward ahead of you. So it is more risky to buy. The chance that you're gonna get stopped out is higher, because this chart, it is not a strong chart, it's just at a very important level. The chance you're going to get stopped out is slightly higher. But if you get stopped out, your risk is rather low, because 10% is not that much. 10% is fine. And your reward is immensely high. So even though it is more likely to stop you out, doing this in the long run is going to get you a lot more profit than buying, let's say, over here. And it does still make sense if you get up here. You have a lot of confirmation, right? But even if Ordi looks strong, like somewhere over here, where your invalidation, your actual invalidation, was a 37% stop. That is now only 10%. So for that reason, a lot of altcoins are at this level. So I said, okay, I want to buy spot at this level. A lot of alts are there. So whatever coin we're going to look at, there's a good chance that I'm going to say, okay, if you like this asset, this is where you buy. This is where you need to buy. If you don't, you just stay away from it. Yeah, Ordian specifically was something I really liked, because you also have this thing. Wait, let me turn this one off. You also have this thing where Ordi essentially across every single level at once. Where you had, I mean, this didn't really touch, right? But on the higher time frame, it did, I think. Yeah, looking at it on the weekly, oh, it didn't touch. You had this fan right here. You have the equal lows. You have the cipher. It is all in the same spot. So I also just really like Ordi because everything is in the same spot, and we retested it and had a really good reaction. So also looking at Ordi now, this looks really good because we reclaimed the bottom of the cipher box. And if we close back within it, went back below, retested the bottom. This looks really good. But anyway, a lot of altcoins are at this level, and ETH BTC is at a very similar level. So for that reason, that is why I chose, okay, I want to be buying altcoins, especially ETH-related ones. And I know Ordi is not an ETH-related one. But that was, that's kind of the reasoning, right? Because ETH BTC as well is at a very important level. ETH BTC finally touched this deep guardly. I know this chart is chaotic, by the way, just few D boxes as support and resistance. That makes it easier. But either way, we touched almost exactly on that 886 right over there. We touched it to the 0.89, and 1.5 is a level that very often works. The bottom of this box would be the 1.618, more or less. So we touched a very important level again. We're still playing the same divergences again. And when we look at the daily chart, we now have something unique on this chart, where this, for once, properly closed on a doji. This is a proper indecisive candle after hitting a very important level, which leads me to believe that we are at least going to touch this. For someone who knows your charts, that chart is absolutely not chaotic. Yeah, I am aware. I mean, what's it called? I can always make it worse, right? Because there are a lot of fibs on it. I have a lot disabled on this chart because I wanted to explain it. Even the boxes, because there's so many of them. But yeah, there's a lot disabled on this chart. Okay, so that being said, I think there's a very big difference in the way we can look at Bitcoin and the way we can look at altcoins. Because altcoins are essentially at a must-hold level, while Bitcoin is an area where we can make a lot of reason for it to go higher, but we can't really take action on it because you are already pretty high. There is no risk reward. So that is also why it makes sense to, for example, look for shorts on Bitcoin while being long on altcoins. Something like that makes sense if you see such a big difference in these kinds of charts, because essentially we want exposure to these altcoins that are at must-hold levels, but we don't want to lose everything if it does go down. So that is also why I'm still looking for shorts on BTC, even though it's uptrending and even though I think this chart is going to go higher. Because quite frankly, we also need some downside exposure. Now, this would have been a really nice short on the candle close, most likely. But yeah, I'm streaming, so I'm not taking this. But what's it called? If it gets back to the level, this is probably a really good short. But do note, I am not taking this. This is essentially just your range high short. And after liquidity grab. Yeah, so previous day high and previous. Wait, do I have where is it? Yeah, this is a really good short. Essentially, I would have taken it on the close. If I were to enter now, I would wait for actually just a lower time frame close above below this. What? I hate that about this indicator. Get your first what is it, 6-minute candle close above this. A bit more rough. Yeah, no, I do like this idea of this short, but yeah, I'm streaming, so I won't be taking this. But either way, these types of candles also showcase what I explained earlier with the monthly BTC candle and the what's called the daily ETH BTC candle. When you have candles like these at important levels, so we know that this is an important level, this wick, for the reason that this really high volume over here, right? Ridiculous amounts of volume over here. We know it's an important level, so then when you have a close like this, when you have a doji candle like this that just has a really large wick into it and it still closes red, something like that is going to give you a lot of indecisiveness at an important level on a strong up move. You can make a lot of reason for why, because we wick this, then close red and close below, why this is going to get a reaction. And we're already seeing that initial reaction right now, right? So essentially, that is the same thing I'm looking for on this ETH BTC chart. But it's just taking a bit longer because this is a daily chart. And this is not a random 1 hour chart, right? So that's essentially what I'm looking for in general. Now, if anyone took this, you could take TP1 there. I think it's likely going to go down there. Let me actually... Yeah, I think this is a really good TP. If anyone took this, this is going to be a TP for sure. Not TP area. It is going to be your lower time frame range and the top of that Cypher cluster. So that's a really good level to be. Now, if you actually close this next candle as well above the value area high, I would get out either way. So I will play it, most likely. Okay, now that we've done that, I don't know if it has any more steam. I don't know. I think we're just gonna go back to retest PUC or even just his order block, I'm gonna be honest. I don't have any faith that this move is gonna go a lot lower. You're just seeing an initial reaction of this liquidity. That's also why I didn't rush to actually, because I think I've done that once where we saw a really good play and I just instantly called it in my channel. That's also why I didn't go and call this in my channel, because this is just a reaction play. If you're not here the moment it happens, so for example, already right now, it doesn't make sense to enter anymore. Because if you go back above your value area high now, you're essentially saying, okay, that was just a reaction and we're not accepting lower. Okay, so either way, now that we went over the market a little bit, let's look at some tickers. So if you guys have any coin suggestions, put them in chat and we can go over those together. XLM. Melania. Oh, there's no way. Wait, I'll give it a quick look. If it's bad, I'm just gonna. Yeah, let's not. Let's not do that. Also, I want to give you, now that we're seeing it live anyway, I want to give a little trick. Whenever you're in a scalp play, in a lower time frame play, based on liquidity, whenever you see something like this, so first of all, I would say I will probably move myself to entry. That's going to be the conclusion of this. But when you see something like this, where you are basing a play off of liquidity, so in this case, it is a previous, what was it, week low and previous day high. When you base something off of that, you go onto a lower time frame and you see lower time frame candles like this that essentially cannot realistically happen without liquidations. These are liquidations. Liquidations are essentially what you based your play off of initially, but the other way around. So you now have something telling you, hey, we went for a bunch of longs, we liquidated them. So there's good reason to think that we're gonna go back higher now. Because these initial longs have been taken. Clearly there were longs here, or this candle wouldn't be that big. So a little trick, if you are someone that takes lower time frame plays based off of that, when you see things like this, you need to be a bit cautious. So if I were in this play, I would just move my stops to entry now and just let it be. Maybe take like 10%, but that's essentially just to make it an actual free play. This is not an area where you want to actually TP. Consider this if we come back up later. I wouldn't. For that, we would have to actually break down first. If you break down first, yeah, maybe. But this doesn't look like it's breaking now. It really doesn't. This is probably going to close up. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the already closed above this. This just looks like a retest. Yeah, if the squiggle happens, but that's a really big if, because even on your chart, we need to lose the level that we're currently holding, that we're currently about to close above. We need to lose that first, then come back up, break the level again, then test the mid. There's like 5 ifs before that becomes a play. Okay, let's look at XLM. Wait, I think I have an XLM chart already. I don't. Okay. Wait, why is this a bit Phoenix short? Okay, let's actually give XLM a macro look, because I haven't for some reason. So whatever I like to do when I start on a macro is I like to draw fans first, because fans, especially old fans, they can tell you a lot. They give you a lot of information. This being a really nice example. Okay, let's go on to 1. And then I am gonna disable the ones that are irrelevant. So these ones. So look at this. Honestly, fans like these on very old charts, this makes older charts a lot easier to read. This is something that what's called FIB speed resistance fans and other fan tools are just really good at, because there's no other way to do this. Where you just mark out all-time low to all-time high, and you get really nice diagonal levels. Okay, either way, let's look at that. So the way I read this is we have broken into this level over here, which is just using the fans, right? We broke into this over here, came back to the top, retested that fan. Now we came back down, retested this as support. This is the retest that we initially missed. So, looking at this chart, it would make a lot of sense to now go and retest this fan again. It would even make a lot of sense to go higher now, right? And actually break this fan, but first step is actually getting there. Now, that would make sense. However, this is not an area where we can actually take action on that, probably. Oh, maybe actually. Okay, let's look at it. Look at it on a lower time frame. To a 786 right over there. Okay, so what we have here is a Leo. Just like that. I'm gonna only mark out 2 levels every time for this to save time. But essentially, this pattern is telling us, hey, that is an important level and this is an important level. So we tapped this level once. We tapped the Leo once. We are now looking for that initial reaction. So I would say if we tap this 302, I would look for a bit lower again. If we then tap it again, it would absolutely be viable for another play. So I would look for longs on either of these levels. So it's going to either be on the Leo, likely going to be on that wick, and stops are somewhere over there. At least towards that 618, but we can reasonably assume higher, right? We have a lot of reason to assume higher. So final spear would be somewhere over there. TP1 at the 0.382 over there, TP2 at the 618, TP3 at the 1372. And the same story would go for this bat, if we ever get there. However, if we do it like that, I would likely only pull this up to the 113. So, what's it called? And these would be slightly different because theoretically speaking, our long would be somewhere down here. Just mark out the exact same things. Essentially, this is what we'll be looking at. Something like this. I think either of these levels has a good shot at holding if we get there again. The only problem you have when you look at patterns like this is if you actually get to do bad, you now do kind of have liquidity levels close. They're not like incredibly close because this is a wick that was caused by liquidations in the first place. But they are kind of close, right? So it's a bit iffy if you actually get here, are you not just going to take these wicks? But in general, I think this bat's going to hold. If we get back down to the Leo again, I think it's good for a type 2. This year kind of type 1. We front ran this, but more or less touched it, right? If we now get back down, I would say it's going to be good for side 2. If this doesn't hold, if you don't see a reaction, you're probably going to get the bad. So I would say either of these. And if you want to leave runs, like let's say want to only take 25% on each, you could make an argument for taking it up to there, but I think that's too risky for like a lower time frame play. So I would keep it like this.
Wait, sorry to interrupt. A guy just messaged me that he wants to join the stream, but he's in the waiting room. Waiting room. What the fuck is that?
A waiting room?
I have no clue.
We don't have a waiting room.
Yeah, I know. I just sent him the link to Backrooms. Yeah, okay, never mind. Sorry.
Yeah, the waiting. We don't even have a waiting room. Wait, where is he? Yeah, he's in the back room fighting demons. Wait, where could he be? Because I don't see him either. I even checked my own server because I know I have a waiting room channel there. I don't even know where I have that. Wait, let me delete those. But where where is he? Oh yeah, well he's just not a what's it called? He just doesn't have a trial or a membership. Well, that's why. Yeah, well, it makes sense then. Oh wait, he does have a free trial. Well, just join the channel then. Oh well, it is what it is. Yeah, we gotta call over the intercom. Like, can someone pick up this guy? He got lost. Someone pick him up. All right, all right. So that's excellent for you. And if you do get higher, one I saw. Wait, let me I posted a screenshot in chat. If you do get higher, this has touched D618, so that means that towards the 786, we would complete a guard. So this will also just be a level where I look for shorts. Yeah, 786 to the 1618 over there. Wait, let me actually Control Z a few times. I wanna keep these on the chart. And then do it like this. Okay, so this would be the bottom. Look at the 786 for a while. So a lot of harmonics have this thing where, hey, you have your 786 here, that's your important level. But then your B to D, this is kind of close to this 1.618. So instead of using a single line, we can kind of use a box over here and use that. Godly. I'm gonna get lost in that one time. Wait, this has become way too chaotic. Then I got the over here. So you can also just make a pretty good argument for pulling this, either of these up to there. I think that would make a lot more sense. And then when you do get to this area, you can make a very good argument for shorts. I actually like this short. That was a good suggestion. I might keep that one. The shorts can be taken, what's it called? Whenever you do get up here, you're gonna likely form some more harmonics. So final 3 would just be another bullish harmonic. But before that happens, we can just use this fan. Let me try and get everything on the screenshot. Oh. Gonna make it as readable as possible. Alright, that was a good suggestion. I like that. Let's see. Did we have another suggestion? Bell has been taken, Grass. You mean Abitsi? Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. So exactly what I mentioned at when we were looking at this play. Whenever you see liquidity wicks like this, when you're basing your play off the liquidity level as well, these usually mark reversals. Because these really fast drops into an immediate buyback, this is just a textbook sign of a reversal. And this could easily keep going lower, right? But in general, if the chart were to reverse it somewhere over here, and if you now start closing above the value area high as well, well, that's just going to be a sign that you don't accept any lower. You kind of do have one close below it, 15-minute close. Views on RWA and the AR market and off request. And I think there was say as well. So, first of all, when I look at RWA, there's actually... Okay, so... I'm gonna be honest here with RWA, right? And I know a lot of people have the opposite opinion, so it is what it is. I think that like kind of genre of token is unbelievably useless. I think there's absolutely no future in it. You have Link that tokenizes contracts and those kind of things. Sure, that's useful. No one even knows what XRP actually does. You have Ondo that wants to tokenize the entire stock market. Sure, if that works, if they pull it off, that is really good. That is a general, like, that is really useful. No, we're not entering short. We saw this live, and I said if you want to take it now, you can. Then we saw a 1 minute liquidation, and I said you need to move subs to entry now. So no one should be in this short. Let me put it like that. But yeah, for Ondo, if they actually pull it off and actually tokenize the stock market, sure, that is useful. But that's it. There's nothing left. You cannot do anything real world related on blockchain. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, if someone has like an incredibly intuitive idea, sure, but it just doesn't make any sense. Because that's just, you're just making a stock, but you're doing it on chain instead, which is a terrible idea. So I think RWA is incredibly useless. I think you can only make an argument for Link and for Ondo. But that's just from a fundamental standpoint, right? The charts can look good even if the genre is just terrible. For example, this chart, if it ever goes lower, this chart looks good. See pool chart.
Okay, me again, sorry. Well, he says he doesn't have permission. Why is that? Do you know, maybe? Is it do free trial members have permission to watch streams or not?
Wait, let me look at the permissions.
Ah, okay.
Why does Sash have a specific? Okay. Okay, I changed it. You can join now. Can you ask Caleb if that's intended or not? Because I'm giving him permissions for it, but I'm not sure. I mean, it should be allowed, right? Because it's a free trial member, so it should be allowed.
Yeah, I'll ask. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, he should be able to join now. Segregation at its finest. I should not have said it out loud on recording, and I should not have laughed at that. I am not associated with the person in chat. I am not associated with him. I also did not think that was funny. Someone arrest him. Okay, anyway, what I wanted to say, back to the charts. what I wanted to say, something like this chart looks really good. Even though this is RWA, this chart looks really good. So even though I think RWA is not a useful thing, the charts can look good and the charts can go up. Because essentially you do have this. There's a deep guard there. Deep guard is essentially just guardlies, but instead of a 0.786 over here, you have an 886. And then this one to the 1.41 should be something like that. Slightly higher. So charts can look really good, even if the genre is something I really dislike. This is one of the examples, and I know this wasn't a chart request, but since I was shitting on RWA so much, here's a chart that does actually look good. I think either of these levels would be good for a buy. Now, do note, this is a low cap. This is the low cap. This coin is listed on Coinbase and is actually a pretty good investment, but it is a low cap. It has a really low market cap, so be careful because these moves are really wide. Like, even if your stop loss is going to be just a random close below this, yeah, it's still 17%. That's quite a bit. The sequel as well. Okay, yeah, let's do Say first, because Say got requested. Wow, would you look at that. I still know how to do technical TA, or traditional TA. Amazing. Why did I do that? why did I just have a random bear flag, I'll say? Okay, yeah, it worked. I still got it. I think I have one of those on Soul as well. On Soul I actually used to explain something. Over there. Oh, okay. Yeah, let's go back to Say. So Say is, by all means, Say is doing exactly what I described at start with Ordi. Let's look at this, right? When we look at the daily, and I'm not going to do the entire thing. So this was your low. This was your high. The moment we close below this, you broke market structure. You are now in a downtrend. So, so we are downtrending. Then we break this high again. So now we are uptrending. So we went from this to this. And that is very important to know. And the reason why I say that is very important to know is because, let's look at invalidation. When do you go from a downtrend to an uptrend? It is the moment you close a candle above this high. Very standard, very fundamental to TA. Now, when would you go from an uptrend to a downtrend? If you close a candle below this. So if you want to know when this uptrend is going to end, we should simply mark these lows and highs, well, especially these lows, say, okay, if we close a candle below that, that is really bad. Then the uptrend would end. Let's do it like that. So we started uptrending over here. We have a very important low over there. Very important high again. And we are currently looking to put on a low. Does that apply to any time frame? Yeah, it does, but the lower on time frame you get, the less reliable it's going to be. That is something in general for time frames. Lower time frames take faster to play out. They play out faster, but they are a bit less reliable. So something like the daily is a perfect sweet spot for ideas, but not per se to execute. It is likely to play out, but taking a play on the daily, it takes a long time to play out. It's actually going to take weeks to play out. But you can use it for other time frames. Let's put it like this. This is our wick. We just took that today. Wait, okay. If this closes like this, we're going to enter a long, probably. Okay, but this is our low, right? This is the low we marked out as market structure. So we take a trend line, grab it on the wick. Then if you hold shift, wait, let me actually explain both. First of all, for the new people here, if you hold control, you activate a magnet tool, you can snap things to the wick. This makes more precise. Then if you hold shift, You only do it like that. You only draw it, in this case, flat. So when we draw a trend line like that, the moment we close a daily candle below this line, this uptrend is invalid. So we can, for now, assume that say is going to close above this before it's going to close below this, because trend is more likely to continue than it is to break. That's a very important thing to understand. So even though we're this low, it is statistically more likely that say closes a daily candle above this level before it closes below this level. So for that reason, if we close like this is the lowest area risk you can get. This is literally the lowest risk area there is, because you are risking a
Yo, Grass.
yeah.
Is there a permission for audio as well? Because he can't hear.
You can't hear. Well, there isn't. There's no permission for audio.
Fuck. Wait.
Connect video, mute members, move members. Should I just give all of the free trial members permission to join the channel? That would be really funny. No, there's nothing for hearing. That is just his Discord.
Oh, fuck.
That's
Try
just his
restarting
Discord.
this.
Yeah, he just has tried it. Well, you can't tell him. Well,
Right.
if you say that, like, if you can't tell him, you have to type it to him. You can't hear you, fella.
Fuck.
Yeah, okay. But go on with this. You're essentially right over here, and we are already in the spot position, I'm aware. With this thesis, by the way, this was a very important part of the thesis, and that's also just why I'm just waiting, because price is more likely to close above that. But either way, you are essentially risking about 7% for what is your technical target for 100%. That is a massive difference. When you look at this in terms of risk to reward, let's round this up to 8% because it is easier for me to calculate. When you round that up, let's say you win one of these plays and you full TP. You make 100% spot. Because it is 100% spot, you would be able to lose 100%. Yeah, 100% and would come out the same way. It's spot, it's slightly different. I don't want to get into the details. That would make the explanation way too long. Long story short, rounding this up to 8%, you can take literally, 10? Like, you can take 12 losses before this plays out once and still be in profit. Now, realistically, you're not going to wait for this on full speed there. That is not how it's going to work, and this might get stopped out over here, might get stopped out over here. Numbers are a bit different. The general idea behind this way of thinking is you know that even if this works out, let's say only 33% of the time, you are still making a massive profit. And this is something that is just based on very fundamental technical analysis. This is something that is likely to play out. When you see price at areas like these, and you've been hesitating, like, do I want to buy say or not? Well, I know the market looks really bad, but this is the place where you buy, even though it looks bad. Because when it starts going up again, that is where you're going to be like, hey, I should have bought. I should have bought when we got down here. This is the lowest risk area you can get. This is your market structure low. If you close below this, you cut. It's that simple. If you don't close below it, price is way more likely to go higher. So this is the area to take that risk because you know exactly what you're risking. You're going with market structure, you have a lot of confluence. You just swept the low. If this closes like this, I am probably going to take this long because I think this is really likely to play out. And in general, I think this looks really good. So yeah, I will give it in stream as well, but I will post this one. I will very likely post this one because I know that Say also has bullish divergences and there's also harmonics on this chart. Yeah, this is very similar to the Ori play. This is really similar. The difference with Ordi is that it's on a way higher time frame level like this, or like a monthly level. But it's the exact same thesis. Quite frankly, for almost all of my recent spot plays, this has been the thesis. And then I have a bunch of harmonics on the chart, and I have oscillators on my charts, and I have a bunch of fans on the chart, etc. Because I want to have the best option, and I want to have a more precise level. But in general, this has been the thesis for most of my recent spot plays. Because look at this level. Your invalidation is so clear. You have such easy risk management and such high reward. Because just looking at how market structure works, this is more likely to get hit than a close below this. So yeah, very similar thesis. Actually, most of my plays have this thesis, most of my recent plays. If we close the daily above this, if we close it like this, let's say the daily closes right now. Say the daily closes like now, right now, I would likely take this play. I would just take this as a long. So I will put this in chat already, but notice only valid on a daily close. If you take it before that and get stopped out, it's all on you. Rhapsody for president. I would absolutely not want to be president. I cannot imagine that. That would be terrible. Do we get gratuity insurance? You do not, but I do mentally share the burden. That's first. I'm not gonna say that out loud. I have learned from the past message. I am not gonna say that out loud. The feds won't get me this time. You see, I can laugh at things as long as I don't say them out loud. No one will figure it out. Okay, so now that I've done this, right, this is the market structure, I'm gonna keep this on the chart as a simple line. Poor Anthony. Oh, poor Anthony. Now that we've done that, a few things. First of all, when we look at fibs, we are at a very important level. Now, this didn't actually touch the 786, which is sad. I would have loved to see this wick go all the way to the 786, but it is what it is. We're currently at the 707, but this is not a completed move. The reason why I say that is because this would only be a completed move the moment we do close the candle below it. So, for that reason, I would currently prefer to use something like this. Let's see if we get something useful. Now it's going to be in the same spot, okay. Unlucky. No, it's only going to be this one, I think. Yeah, okay. I would take a TP before the actual high. And the reason for that is because you have this guardian over here. So from the 786 over there to the 1.618 right over there. So if that gets hit, there's a good chance that this is going to be at least cause a reaction to the downside. So this is likely going to be a TP. Maybe I should just chart out the long so I don't have to do it later today, because I'm likely going to give that as a play anyway. So that guardian would be TP1, then TP2. For me TPs, I usually look for the technical target. So out of a guardian, that would, or out of harmonics, that would be the 0.382 from the highest point to the lowest point. So that would be over here. But since this is so close to so many wicks, I would rather just place it on the wicks, which gives you slightly lower risk reward, but a chance that this gets wicked out and then never touch that 3-2 and then goes lower is absolutely there. And then second one on the 618. I'm gonna make this one red to make it clear that is a stop loss. Just like that. And the last CP would be that high for market structure. And in this case, also for the ABCD. So make it a bit more clear. This will be the actual play, most likely. This is likely going to be my play. Let's see, did I actually miss anything else? No, okay, that's likely going to cross over on that TP. That would make a lot of sense. This one's way lower. And yeah, okay. There's so much traded volume over there. Yeah, it's also just taking it from the moment this taps. We are currently at the point of control. So I would honestly really like it if we close above that. Also, point of control and VAL are so close together on this one. Let me make sure I include that. Oh, that's going to change it, okay. Yeah, but still, there's a lot of volume over here. These are really close together. In general, this is essentially just your lowest risk area, I'll say. He'd see short cooking. Are you still in it? Yeah, it looks good. But yeah, this is a good area to look for, say. Let's see on the daily close. Would preferably like to see the daily actually close above this BOC. So somewhere over there. That would be ideal. We'll say again. Let's look at BTC. Yeah, it looks good. Yeah. Okay, let's go over the other coin requests. We had Aave. Do that one first. Wait, let's actually start on this one. Oh, yeah, I forgot I drew that up. Wait, do I not have Alpha on this list? Yeah, why not? I do. Okay, so as for Alve, we have a guard here. Should have taken that short, but I didn't want to take it at the time. I don't remember why. We have tapped TP1. So there is a decent chance we come back now. Now, when we do, the problem with this high that we formed is that this high didn't actually take these two. So if we sweep this, or if we get close, I think it is very likely to sweep at least this high, maybe both. So for that reason, I would think Alv is still good for a short, but I'm not sure if I would actually want to just short the bottom of this box, because I think there's a very good chance that if we get there, they're actually just going to go and wick that out. Wick out all of the shorts that are over there. So for that reason, I think you're likely going to have a short like this, where you would wick above it first. Just do it like that. But let me just like that. We just enter like that. Shouldn't have closed my Popcat short. I was looking at a Popcat short at literally the exact high. Wait, why are you tagging Kate up with that? Yeah, I didn't take that either. Very sad. But yeah, if we do get up higher again for Alve, I would just look at this. It's very easy because I already had it charted out and really like this level. Now the thing with Av that makes it risky to short, and this is probably also the reason why I didn't want to take the short over there, is that Av has a really, really good macro chart. Because essentially, what this chart is doing is this is just making the biggest round to the bottom you've ever seen. And doing this is literally going on to a parabolic chart of the harmonics we have over here. Now, I have been very, very vocal about Av. and how bullish I am on it. However, oh wait, this actually looks really good. Wait, let me actually redraw. No, I can't. Okay. Now I will say, if we get above this level, because this is your macro bearish harmonic, this was my main TP on the spot position. The spot position we had from 80. Biggest rounded bottom you've ever seen. Yeah, okay. Alright. I mean, that's why we're bullish in Aave. That is the main reason why. It had nothing to do with TA. Yeah, but that's the thing. This was the main TP from the spot position, right? Because this is your macro bearish harmonic. This is a bearish 5-0. Yeah, it will be. Everything's recorded. So this level is essentially just a very important macro level. So as long as we stay below this would still be good for shorts. This is a nice area to look for shorts because you are below a very important level. And you're very close to it. However, the moment we start getting above it, that is when you can look for a lot more upside. That is also why on the other chart, I had a shark marked out. Because once we do get above it, you have a very clean shark all the way up to that 113. And do I think we get there? Maybe, maybe not. I don't think it's impossible. But it is like way higher. So yeah, as for a higher time frame, I would say this is essentially your breaking point. Stay below this, and this is good for shorts. Get above it, and it's good for longs. It's a very important level where Alpha's at right now. Oh wait, let me actually put a little line there so people can see the price. Rob, thank you for saying well. Thank you for coming. I appreciate that. Okay, let's see. We had a Fard coin request and LDO and ENA. Those are the last ones. I'm gonna do Fard coin, LDO, and ENA. Oh, that is really nice here. I'm really glad you took it. I have never been as active in shilling a coin as Aave. I don't think I want a single like 3-day time span or 3-day candle without mentioning this coin. That was really fun. That was really good. And it worked out. I'm really glad it worked out. Imagine if it didn't. Because what's it called? The average I ended up with is 80 or something. And then I added up here, so the average, like the actual average was somewhere in 100. I don't even know anymore. But yeah, it is way up from then. Okay, I took a Fard coin first. Get this out of the way. This is what's that called? Does anyone know what that schematic is called? It is like an opening mouth pattern or whatever on earth it is. Where you get into a pattern, you have I can't actually add it wave counts because it's go too high. You have your initial leg in, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, this one doesn't count. Wait, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have your last leg on 8. Now, 9 should be somewhere over here. 10 is going to be up here, and then it's going to go downhill. I don't know what that pattern is called again. It's like a very old accumulation schematic, but yeah. Either way, judging by that, this should get one more leg up. Tip is typing. I really hope Tip knows what it is. No, okay, it wasn't to me. Lucky. Yeah, I don't know what this is called, but there is a pattern like this. Either way, let's look at something I do know. So, looking at this on the lower time frame, yeah, I don't know either. See, the thing is, I had the cheat sheet somewhere, but I lost it, and I haven't seen a single person post it since then. Oh, that is a very nice 786 tap. And that 1272 and 2.618 are on the exact same spot. Okay. Yeah, I think this looks good. We have a butterfly over here. I can't even really mark it out with a box because it's on the exact same spot. But either way, we have a butterfly over here. And I think we have more, because this should be a bat or a Gardly. It's a Gardly. Yeah, so the Gardly is up a bit higher. Okay, let me turn this into an actual butterfly. Butterfly over there, then this is like kind of too high for a Gardly. That's the problem here, because this is going to be, this is too high. This should be at the 1.618 max, but at the 1.618 this isn't going to be valid. So the only thing this is a max Gardly, but to my experience those aren't all that reliable. So I would rather take it up here for an empty shark. Starts over there, then to the 2.24. Maybe it's it. Okay. I really like those emotes. I think that fella in chat and this one, these are so good. Especially this one. I really like this one. Okay, can I copy image? No, I'd have to open it first. This fella. For anyone watching on stream. I love this fella. I'll keep him on the chart. Okay, either way, we have the anti-shark over there, and the other anti-shark would actually be at 3 point. This chart is really harmonic. The ratios all align in the exact same spot. Why? Why? Can we name Grassity or Spider-Man? Because I'm drawing all of the spider webs. Yeah, I'll keep it like this. Either way, these are the levels that we'll be looking at. And I know that is way lower, but these levels are very confluent. US wants to buy lower. Well, the US has already bought. I don't think they're buying at all. It's actually just Trump, but the numbers he's buying at is not like relevant to him. And who's that? Like a Spider-Man acting. Probably a terrible one, that's why I don't know him. Or I've just just insulted him. No, I don't watch a lot of movies. I wouldn't know him either way. PUC we right over there. No, that's not that relevant. Well, they already have a ton of BTC. Movies don't have harmonics, so it makes sense. Exactly. Why am I charting Fartcoin? Okay, either way, that's what I will be looking at. You know, the thing about Fartcoin is that I don't like trading this token because I got someone DM me about this token at 400k market cap and I completely faded it. Because obviously I did. If someone's gonna come up to you and say, yo, buy Fartcoin, it's a real runner, well, I am not gonna buy that. But yeah, that was the wrong choice. Someone makes bath water, please show it. That exists already. I'm sure of it. On Grassy, you can't buy me, Caleb. That's been forbidden for like 200 years. Uh, okay, Altport coin. LDO. Let's see. Oh. The thing about LDO is that I already have a chart. This was actually a really nice spot position. Should have just rebought it every time we got there. Okay, either way. LDO's chart on a higher time frame. Where's my Leo? Wanted to call me Spider-Man, right? Let me enable them all. Because there's a reason why I usually have all of these hidden. It's because otherwise my chart looks like this. Oh, that is unreadable. If you're not used to that, that's actually going to be unreadable. Okay, either way, when we look at this chart and I enable this one, we are still in the pattern of this one. So essentially what we look at is these are a bunch of boxes. These are all support and resistance levels. Now, we have already tapped the 3A2 of this. Okay, I'm not going to do it exactly. I'll just do it like this. We've already tapped the 3A2 of this. So you can make an argument for going lower. You can make an argument for taking these lows again, or at least get to this box again. I don't think that's going to happen, but there is an argument. Nothing for grass students. You know the last class where I just showcase how you deal with chaos? So I just enable everything and show you how to actually make it organized like this. He's traumatized. No, okay. And so you can make an argument for low, but I don't think it gets there. I think LDO is a very strong coin. Now, if it does get here again, get to this Leo or this bat, I think this is a really good area to start buying. I think these coins, it would look really good here. But until that happens, I think we're going to go higher. I think we're going to at least take the 618 over here. Which will be right over there. So, from a higher time frame, I think this coin goes higher. I want to say that. So that's the first one. That's the first LDO. Now, let's look at a lower time frame. That is a nasty wick. Is that actually the chart? Yeah, okay. When we look at this range, I don't see anything immediately apart from a shark a lot lower. There's a shark like right here. To right here. But that is about the only thing. Because the highs are not, things like these highs, these are too high. There's gonna be like a 941. I don't see anything immediately. Wait, I do see a bearish harmonica here up. No, that's gonna be a 707. That doesn't count either. This chart isn't forming anything. Not valid either. Yeah, this chart really isn't making anything. Okay. Let's do it differently. Let's look at ABCDs. So let's see. Is this actually an ABCD? Yeah, it is. Okay, so I have a little trick. Those of you that have come to my classes a few times already know this. Can't find this on Blowfin. It's right there. Blowfin has it as well. Well, maybe not on spot. Okay, ready? Either way, those of you that come to my classes often probably already know this. But there's this thing in markets, and this is a traditional chart pattern. A traditional chart pattern in every sense of the word, because this is a very, very old chart pattern. Now, there is something that people often forget in TA, and that is this. If you have a chart that makes a move, how to take OG Grassity's classes. No, this concept, I'll explain it again, but this is something I just explained in Unity streams. I do give my own classes as well, but you'll just have to go on Twitter or send me a DM for that. Sending a DM is the easiest, if you want more info on that. But either way, this class, this concept, this is the concept of a lightning pattern. And what it goes by is this. Whenever you look at a chart, let's say you're in the previous bull cycle, right, over here, and you're out of the market, and you want to know, where can I buy Ethereum? The first thing most people look at is the left. Very simple, because that is where all of the data is. That is where all of the data is. What are you going to see on the right, right? You look at previous data. That's what you look at. So what people will often see is this move. Hey, this is our previous down movement. After we went down this far, that is when we went up. Very simple. That is something that people will often see. That is something not a lot of people see on purpose, right? I forgot the word for that. But that's not something that people see on purpose. But that is something that they see intuitively without knowing it. Now, what we can do with that is, what if we take that distance and put it on the same high again? What if we say, okay, last time we went down this far. We went down this far, and that's when we started going up. So what if we go down that far again? We should start going up again. It is a very simple pattern. It is unbelievably simple, and it surprised me that not more people know of this. But this is something that works extremely well. This is what you call a lightning pattern. Essentially what this is whenever you have a move in one direction and a little move up, or a little move in the other direction, if you do that, make that same distance again, there's a good chance you bounce from that area. That area is a very important level. It's not always going to give you a reaction, of course. There are no absolutes in trading. But that distance twice is going to give you a really good reaction more often than not. And you can do this on so many charts. For example, the current BTC chart. If we do the exact same trick again, start at the bottom, one move up, and we simply put it right over there on top of the wick. Where do we land? Right over there. This is something that works really well. Especially on higher time frames, this is something that gets respected really well, which is why initially I was looking for shorts there, right? And why I'm still a bit hesitant to actually long BTC here. Now, let's look at that right over here. One move up. If we put that over C, where do we land? Right over there. This is what trend-based fibs are based on. So trend-based fib from A to B to C, your one level is always going to be that. So if we get there, right over there, I think you have a very good chance at going lower again. Especially since there are multiple wicks over here. You have a wick over here, wick over here. If we now go higher, close below, I think you can easily take a short position. So I'm going to mark it out like this. And there you have it. Where do we take it? I would likely just, let me actually hide the trend-based fib. The ECP is just an estimate, right? Because I don't actually know where it's going, but something like this. And this would be a trigger play, because this is such a tight area, I can't really set limits for it. But if we do wick into it close below, I think this is going to be your play. So that's what I would look at for Albion. Okay, now last one, ENA. ENA, I think ENA actually tapped us out. I think we moved sub-century, so it tapped us out. I haven't checked on my exchange here for a little. Okay, either way, I think on a high time frame, ENA still is good. essentially all this did is just retest that deep trap here, Z, that we had over here, that we entered off of initially. Then I think last week on the stream, I mentioned, hey, get out. All right, just having trouble talking because of that. I think it was this one, right? Yeah, this was the short we drew last stream. You had exactly your entry, went down all the way to TP2, did it again. So, same thing again. We left these highs behind. This, you're always gonna have that. This is still a downtrending chart. When you look at market structure, this is still a downtrending chart. So if we get to the highs here again, I think you can once again short it. Now, I would only look for longs on very important levels because this is a downtrending chart. So in that case, for example, the bottom of this deep trap box, or just this area because there is a lot of liquidity in this area. So I would only look for longs in this area, but priority to me would be for shorts over here. Because quite frankly, this chart is still downtrending, right? You were very clearly uptrending, but then you have a low over here, high over here, and you started closing below this. So this is a downtrending chart. So for that reason, I would once again look for shorts if you get there. If you don't, it is what it is. You can maybe look for scalp longs over here, but there's a good chance that if it goes over here, it will first of all be another lower low. And there's also just a very good chance that it breaks this level, because that's what downtrends do. So ENA is just in an area where I cannot trade it. Because I cannot do anything on the middle of the range. The long would be over here, but this chart is very clearly downtrending. And the short would be up here, but we've already had like multiple entries. So I'm not sure if we'd actually want to take it. Yeah, they say Time is in chat, right? Time, you took this play, right? I think you were the one that took it. Yeah, that was a good short. Good call on actually taking that. But yeah, in general, I think ENA is very interesting for shorts. I don't think this coin goes a lot higher until we actually start closing above this. Once we start closing above $1 again, that's when I'll consider longs again. And I will say, because I know a lot of people are thinking it, because I usually also get the question. Because ENA is one of the coins that Trump has in his like Liberty Finance thing. And I want to ask a very critical question. And for those that were there for the last class about news, the class that I gave here for news events, Trump has this in his portfolio, more or less, like his company has it, right? Which is good. But what does that reflect? Because this coin is sort of having institutional demand. Not really, it's just a random company. But sort of having demand. But what is the chart doing while it is getting bought up? Because Trump is buying this coin, and his buying pressure is already into the market because he has already bought. So what he's doing has already been priced into the market, quite literally, because he has already bought. Now, even though he's doing that, this chart is still downtrending. So why is that? If that was actually very good fundamental news, why is the chart still downtrending? So I do want to say, when I look at this chart, this is just a downtrend. This is just a chart I would look to short. I have no interest in longs on this chart. And I think that is gonna, when we get up here, that opinion about the general market is probably gonna change. I mean, probably a lot of people are gonna be bullish in ENA again. I think it's misplaced. As long as this chart is downtrending, I think we can easily look for shorts. Okay, well, first level for shorts would still be this level, but this will be risky because you've had so many taps of this already. So I wouldn't actually take that short anymore. Now, what we could potentially look at, there is a No, that's not really valid. Let's put it like this. No, this one. 707 to 141 more or less. It's gonna be a lot higher as well. I can get short setups for over here, but I'm not sure if I will take this because this would likely swap mark structure. So this is not a coin I would trade. I'm gonna give you this chart to say like, hey, I think it's gonna go down over there or it's gonna go down over there. But I'm not gonna put a shorter or longer this chart because I don't want anyone to take this because I would not be confident in this at all. I wouldn't. This is a chart that I simply would not touch at the moment. Oh yeah, I'll see you later, Ahmed. Yeah, thank you for coming. So yeah, in general, I wouldn't trade this at the moment. I can give you this chart, but I'm gonna keep it very empty because this is like very, very low confidence. This will be higher confidence. Just general market direction, rather confident, but I wouldn't actually take a play on this. We've already had that play last week, right? The play is not there anymore. Okay, now that is gonna be it for me today. BTC is just going down. Okay, that is gonna be it for me today. I'm gonna end the stream here. Thanks everyone for coming, and especially those putting questions and messages in chat. I appreciate that, and I will see everyone next week.